Let's go, people! Let's go! It's Prognosis negative time!
Hi, this is Eric.
Hello, this is Isaac or Ike.
And welcome back. It's Prognosis Negative, episode 56, continuing in our Tron Uprising journey. This time we'll be discussing, with spoilers, episodes 6 through 10, if you count the special as number 1. I'm anticipating this not going nearly as long as the previous one we did. But anyway, we'll see what happens. Because we got most of the, just getting used to the whole series and all that other background information.
Of course. Yes.
So, here we go. Next 5 episodes. What was your overall general take, Isaac?
Series is moving. I wouldn't say any were fillers, because I feel as though each one, maybe not immediately, but each one left a point that was followed up through and will continue to be followed up through maybe every other episode, if that makes sense. For instance, when Venom is introduced, by that I mean the DC drug that gives Bane his physique, or, of course, the symbiote that Spider-Man had for a brief time and then became its own organism attached to any other person. That also affected his emotional state and gave him strength. Once he used that against Tesla, it then made him paranoid for the next episode and caused Tesla to immediately, go on the assault and say, hey, I want this guy's head. Bring me his head. Heads will roll.
Right.
So I do appreciate that these are, like, a lot of these plot points are being followed up through. Because I guess, again, regardless, I don't know how long they did have. If it was 19 episodes to start, and then they were going to have another season, there's I don't think there's any filler. On, 6, Eric, I got to ask, I've heard this, I think, in writing, like television writing, or, yeah, I guess television writing. Is that would episode 6 be called the bottleneck episode, or am I, like, completely off base with this?
It's kind of like a bottleneck episode, or a bottle. It's not bottleneck. It's a bottle episode.
Forgive me.
Not exactly. It could have been one if this show was produced in live action. But then, even if it was live action, like, it's bottle light, because then there'd be some exceptions to it. Typically, a bottle episode either, by and large, just takes place like in one set, or you only use like pre-existing sets that you always see so if we're talking about TNG, you only see sets aboard the Enterprise, and we don't like go off planet or anywhere else. Like, that would be kind of like a bottle episode. Or again, just kind of set like, oh, the whole episode takes place in this cave or whatever. The only reason, even if it was live action, it's quasi, is because we see the flashback scenes. So that wouldn't make it a traditional bottle episode. But yeah. But there are certainly episodes in Star Trek in general that are almost like bottle episodes, where we have sort of like two characters. This is a trope. I'm not sure what it's called, but like, I'm just going to call it the frenemy trope, but I'm sure that's not what it's called. But when two people who are normally enemies are trapped and need to work together, that is definitely a television trope.
An alliance of convenience.
Yeah. And some of the greatest episodes I can think of classically of sci-fi television fall into that category. There's a very notable episode from BSG Original Run that was like that, and there's multiple in Star Trek series, and there's a popular movie for people who are Gen X or older into sci-fi, a movie called Enemy Mine that came out in like 85 or 86 with Randy Quaid. I always get the Quaid brothers' names mixed up. I think it's Randy Quaid.
Dennis?
Not Dennis. I think it's
Okay.
Randy. Oh, no, it's Dennis. Dennis is the more actiony brother.
Sure.
I
Yeah.
think Randy's the more character actor, comic relief actor. I just get them mixed up with their names. But yeah, Enemy Mine is a 80s classic sci-fi that is all about this trope.
I have heard of it, not seen it, of course.
Great movie. Really great. But yeah, I generally agree with what you just said overall. Yes, it didn't feel as much like there was a filler story because some of the stories that happened in the first batch that we already discussed, like they could have existed or not existed. Uh, it seemed like the function of a lot of the episodes in the previous block were just to establish, Zed's bitter, Beck has become like an apprentice, sort of, but there wasn't necessarily like significant things. It was just kind of setting up the character backstories. Whereas, like you said, in this batch of episodes, it seems like things are happening that are going to matter later or planting seeds. And because of these flashbacks that happen in multiple episodes of this block, like they're fleshing out like things we did not previously know. And yeah, really like expanding like character background, etc., character history.
For the sake of, I assume, writing, like they don't want to just keep repeating the same storyline. Is that why they don't keep having Tesla round people up, like use, as Pavel says, like use people as hostages, and instead, like, we're going to move on to the next thing? Or I guess also it's because suddenly Dyson shows up.
Well, I don't even know how to answer your question. I think you sort of answered your own question.
There you go.
But the original question was like, why don't they just show Tesla like constantly rounding people up? I think because he's still trying to present the facade of like benevolent leader, and not trying to come across as like martial law dictator. So I think he's picking and choosing.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, because he did that one time, just to try to galvanize the population against the renegade. But it's not something he can just keep doing, I don't
I
think.
see.
Because he's still, again, trying to be like benevolent leader.
In card game terms, he kind of lost that hand, so he's going to have to, and maybe showed his poker face in a way which you're not supposed to do. So he's now back to like, okay, let's reset and try again, and not try that gambit again. That gambit didn't pay off.
Right.
Well, cool car. Though I couldn't help but feel like that. What was it, Roadster or whatever they called that? Was nothing more than, looked like a cool Hot Wheels car.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it did look kind of like that.
So that was another thing. There was another, I forget which company it was. That was it. Mainframe? I don't think it was. There's another company that in the mid aughts, kind of late aughts, did like a whole bunch of like Hot Wheels straight to DVD movies, and that art style kind of also reminds me of this show. Not to go back to that, but just because there was vehicles, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I guess this is also semi-vehicle centric.
Yeah, this show continues to show new types of vehicles that not seen before, and some of them are pretty cool.
Yeah,
Like
they are.
the episode that I guess was the, what did they call it? They called it a dirigible, I think, even though it doesn't look like a traditional dirigible.
Oh yeah, this is in episode 7.
Yes, yeah, like that was cool. I liked it, and it had like those little I don't know, propulsion rings that would come out the rear, sort of, kind of like Bilbo blowing smoke rings or something. Yeah, I continue to be impressed by all these different, like some vehicles we barely see them, and whatnot. There was a flashback in the two-parter at the end of this block where they showed some of the Flynn bikes, which we see in the movie and we saw in the first block, except now they have like a gray gunmetal skin instead. Yeah, like and there are random like customized bikes that they're not given a name, they're not like special, but they belong to some random character. There's also variants in the very different like various light cycles that we see throughout these episodes, which I like.
See, it wasn't until now, and I guess we're discussing this because I mean, that's the point. Do you think this is a subtle like way of selling toys? By the way, because so far I don't think it's egregious. I don't think it's. I think it's pretty subtle enough to say like, you know what, some of these are cool. It is interesting if they ever did have a toy lineup for some of these vehicles.
Yeah, I don't think they ever did. Now, if this show had been really popular, they probably would have. But as far as I know, they only had the toys that released in tie-in to the movie Legacy. There was never anything released like beyond that initial run of Tron toys, as far as I know. And I'm also guessing that like some of the expanded Star Wars series, I'm guessing perhaps a lot of these designs, vehicle designs, etc., were probably created initially for the movie but didn't make it into the movie.
Ooh,
I mean, that's very common, to
yeah.
recycle designs that weren't used, put them in a video game, put them in a series, etc.
Heck, they could even like gone back to all the way to '82 and looked for anything that was unused
Oh yeah, who knows?
potentially.
It would be cool if we get to see the little spiders that we only see for like a glimpse in the original movie, which of course were not CG but hand drawn.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm also still waiting for Sark's ship as well to return because it was in Legacy. So I was wondering, like, well, at first, yeah, I thought, for instance, Dyson was going to be in on that one, but no, the animators or designers came and had his own ship instead, which was at least a cool feature.
In the Bounty episode, didn't we get to see? That's a ship, isn't it? Like Tesla's ship, sort of like a. It seems like it's a base that can, take itself different places.
Yeah, like a giant star destroyer almost. I say giant; it's already big.
Yeah, but so Tesla has like his own get up or something. I'm also
Um,
curious because in episode 6, where we see pages like flashbacks and backstory, we see Tesla as well feature in that as obviously younger, and he's some kind of guard or sentry or something, but he's obviously not as high rank as he is in present timeline. So I am a bit curious if at some point we'll see like into his past from his point of view and see how he got elevated in rank in Clue's army or whatever.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he had in that flashback. I don't know if he had the Omega arms at that point yet.
I would guess not, but yeah, I don't think it's specified.
Also, aren't is it? I could be incorrect in this, but aren't bottle episodes also supposed to be a budget saving episode?
Yes, yes.
Well, I pretty much disproved that whole theory, that whole summation, just because they got a certain character back from the movie. So that was, and their actor back as well. So that definitely probably quadrupled the cost of that episode.
Maybe sometimes actors will, go in at normal voice actor prices, which are obviously significantly less,
Yes,
or it could have been pre-negotiated in her contract
that's funny.
that as part of your payment for the movie, you're obligated to do X amount of voice work
Oh yeah,
or something
that's
for spin-off material. However, I don't think they got Jeff Bridges to sign such clause.
no, that was somebody else. It was the same guy who voiced him in the video game Time Evolution.
Yeah, so they didn't do that. And that's kind of how it was in the 3D animated Clone Wars. Like sometimes you would get an actual actor for an episode too, but largely it was sound alikes for the most part.
Well, they had Neeson on every time he was. They had Jin on there.
But that was extremely rare. Yeah.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
also
yeah.
thinking back to what was I was thinking back to when we did Tales of the Jedi.
Yeah, Yeah. But yeah, so we get like a legacy, and I mean, when I say legacy, I mean in the traditional sense, although the movie's called Legacy. But yeah, we get our first, I guess, like A-list legacy inclusion. We get to see Cora, and she looks like Cora
Yep.
in the face. And yeah, it was pretty cool. And we see some in that episode, and we see some in the two-parter, like flashbacks with ISOs. I can't remember if we were talking about diasporas last time completely offline, or if any of it was in our previous Tron conversation. But it's weird how we have that set up as these ISOs being like a diasporic, uh, a type of people who lose their homeland and actually almost go extinct, as we know by the time of the movie Legacy. And I actually kind of started feeling for them as, you know, with the episode 6 and then later episode 9, 10, because as far as we know, up to Legacy, only one surviving ISO. And in flashbacks, we see that there was obviously so many more of them. And we see how they've been blamed for things. We see in episode 6 where Tesla makes Paige believe that the ISOs killed her buddies. And then, of course, there's sort of like a riot demonstration situation in 910 where a shadowy figure kind of fires the first shot, so to speak, and makes it look like it came from the ISOs to the regular citizenry. Um, so, yeah, this has been a big plan the whole time. Now, I mean, it's one can, I think, fairly speculate this is all coming from Clue. I mean, his directives to his higher ups, like that the ISOs are a threat. You know, because the ISOs in this universe or the grid kind of represent how the X-Men mutants are considered a threat in the X-Men universe. You know, that's kind of the thing that, you know, perhaps they're like an evolution of our species, but they will dominate us if left unchecked, right?
Yeah, I was also thinking non-benders in Legend of Korra.
The non-benders would be the ISOs, or they'd be the regular citizens, and the benders would be the ISOs.
Um, let's see. It was the no. They would be the ISOs because
Yeah.
in later when there's a later episode where they come out when the power is out in their like district, and then like they're the police that kind of force them into groups almost, if that makes sense, and then arrest any that start to be a little insubordinate.
Okay. Okay.
But yes, the X-Men large. I don't. I let me say mutants, if you don't mind. Actually, not just like X-Men, but yeah,
Yeah, I
those with
said
the mutant
mutants.
gene. There you go. Thank you.
Right.
Yeah, they would. They would be the social pariahs in this case, where it's like they're different from us. They can represent any group, really, any group that is non-American or does not have like non-American values. Just using it because it was a American creation. So you can put any disproportionate culture, ethnicity, creed, sexuality into the mutant.
Yeah, except in the case of X-Men or the ISOs, they are technically genetically different, you know, from the common population.
Oh, absolutely. And in a way, like I know you mentioned they lost their homeland. I mean, they didn't even have home. They're a miracle. They're like they have they're not, it's not even just nomadic. It's like they just popped out of nowhere. Like God just snapped fingers and suddenly man came from sand. It's like there is no homeland. It's literally like the home's the ground, I guess, in a way. So wherever they first touch down is basically their home.
Well, they're kind of like, you know, in technology terms, like the first emergent AI, because all programs, as far as we know in the Tron universe, were created by users, except for the ISOs.
Making them a miracle. And by the way, I appreciate the fact that maybe it's just this day and age, but I appreciate that they never use the terms AI. I mean, they wouldn't even. I don't even know if
Right. Yeah,
inside the grid they would know what that is.
yeah, exactly. They tend to use their own terminology, and of course they're kind of going off the terminology established in '82, where artificial intelligence. I don't know like how many people were aware of that term or how much that was even in circulation in
Well,
'82. The idea of it
yeah.
was 100% in circulation, but I mean the term calling it artificial intelligence, I don't know.
This is true. I mean, I'm pretty sure. I haven't read 2001, but I assume HAL 9000 is mentioned as like an artificial intelligence.
Did you happen to see this video I sent you via I don't know what? That was an excerpt from a documentary by the BBC from like 1966.
Oh yeah, surreal footage on Instagram
Did
in
you
1966.
did you see?
No, I never saw it.
It's a bunch of excerpts of British school children at that time. Now, of course, they've selectively edited, but everything the kids say is like a spot on prediction of the modern world post 2000. Um, they say, the kids are saying, like, because they're asking them, what do you think the world's going to be like in the year 2000? And they're saying things like, oh, I think people are going to have more inventions and technology. It's probably going to become like a distraction to regular world. Probably people will be like stuck on their machines all the time, and it'll mess up like just having fun outside, and like it's really crazy. Those kids really predicted the future.
Many Nostradamuses.
But uh yeah, and they also, as established in '82, they do like to use some terms that are. It's kind of like how in most zombie movies they have a different term other than calling the things zombies
Yes.
in their respective universe, and Tron's a little bit like that when it comes to some technical terms.
Although it's not as egregious. In some movies, they refuse to use, common terms that we would, use now. Because this one's, I think, still a little bit niche. So you don't really, I don't know, I can't really, like, even Matrix kind of used, I think, different terminology as well, but that was a little more mainstream than this.
And speaking of the whole ISO concept of them being like the first emergent sentience or life in the grid or machine world or whatever you want to call it, weirdly or not, a massive theme in the Blade Runner sequel 2049 as well.
Oh yeah, I guess who's starring in the next Tron iteration?
Who's in Blade Runner?
Yep.
I'm not sure which person because I don't really know the cast too well.
Well, from guy who replaced what is it, the I forget what the company was in first Blade Runner, but whoever was
yeah. The Tyrell Corporation.
Yeah, from the Tyrell or whatever the stand-in for Tyrell Corporation, thank you.
Right.
In 2049 was from that weird creator guy who admired replicants in a weird way. Now he's the replicant, Jared Leto.
Right. Okay. Yes, I'm sorry. I forgot Jared Leto was in Blade Runner 2049. That's why I thought.
Only for at least 5. He made a chilling speech. I remember that. But he was only in there for maybe 7 minutes at most, but he made the most of it.
Yeah. He was great in that, for sure.
It was. Can I pick your brain? Do you think in that flashback in episode 9, who shot first, or who was the first to throw the disc, the memory disc, excuse me? Do you think that matters, or do you think that's was it Clue, or was it just one of Clue's underlings, or is it not important?
Maybe it was young Tesla.
Could have been, yeah. No, because we do see the figure. Not that we don't see the figure, but we see somebody. There's at least a silhouette there. So that's a good point, actually. I like that prediction. I wasn't thinking of that. I was thinking it was Clue itself.
I didn't think of it until you asked the question, but now it makes sense because that could answer my other question as to how he got elevated to being such an acolyte of Clue.
Okay, now we're going somewhere with this. I do like that. Yeah, they had the temptation, or at least they had the item that would make the character stronger, or make the protagonist stronger, kind of go into the dark side potentially, yes. Where it's like, oh, he's not himself. and Tron's gonna snap him out of it or something. But
Yeah, it reminded me of in the Smallville series, there would be like an episode a season that would be like the token red kryptonite episode.
yes, so I heard.
Yeah, so it immediately, that was the first thing that popped in my mind was the red kryptonite when Clark would sort of go evil for like an episode in Smallville. Um, and yeah, yeah, I I can't even imagine what the role is going to be for that going future, because we see that it is somehow reconstructed at the end of the episode.
Well, it's Clue. Yeah, sorry, Clue. Tron, I think, said it best. I think he set it up perfectly, where he said it has to be completely destroyed, and unfortunately, Beck doesn't fully destroy it. Only cuts it in half. So I wonder if the other piece, unless it was only fried on one side, I wonder if the other piece is also regenerated. So we have like two pieces now through division.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to see the other piece.
Obviously
or
not.
But yeah.
But as for what Pavel has with it, he's waiting to have it later, use it later on. It's his ace up his sleeve or something like that, or the ace in the hole.
Yeah, maybe that'll be his Starscream moment where he tries to have a mini.
Did I say that, by the way, or did one of us bring that up last?
Oh, we brought it up last
Okay,
time.
okay.
Yeah, we brought up because I said that Pavel or Tesla is kind of like Starscream, except like hasn't fully revolted against Clue or anything. But maybe it'll. I mean, obviously Pavel has his eye always on moving up,
Of course.
in a dog eat dog kind of way.
I mean, you kind of like that character in a way because you know that he's pathetic. He can't fight unless he has enhancements to him. So I don't know if he'll use it or if he's going to have somebody else use it instead. It's like, well, it didn't work for me last time, but if I use it on somebody else.
Yeah, and I think another reason why I like this block more than the first block as a whole was because, to be honest, I think I was paying attention more episode by episode. For instance, like the two goons who are always going to Zed, asking for the tank or whatever.
The two fools, yep.
I didn't realize until this block that they worked directly for Tesla. I thought for some reason they were working with that girl who seduced Zed in the first block.
Oh,
and I thought they were like a separate gang.
Yeah.
Like I thought they were just like underworld, but no, they work for Tesla directly. Okay, so
I wouldn't say directly, but it's more
not directly, but like how bounty hunters work for Darth Vader in Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah,
like they're not Empire proper, but
speaking of which, with those guys, I was also usually keeping them around. Sometimes I'd rather them not be there, but I actually appreciate what they did with at least one of them, where it made him look like, oh, he's he might be Tron. Like they used him in person. I love how Tesla's like, do you think this is you guys are fools for making me think that this guy's actually Tron. And he even just does not accept the fact that, just so blinded by being, having that dream sequence or whatever, which.
And what is up with having that fake evidence? There's like that fake the thing on the ring on the memory disk.
Oh yeah.
Shows like first person perspective, like that he's the one who's like, shouldn't they be aware that it's possible to manipulate these things? Because that'd be like if I'm a lawyer and I go to trial and I'm like, here's my evidence, and I play like an AI generated video of someone committing a crime. Like obviously people would be like, yeah, no, that's not how evidence works.
It kind of reminded me, at least gave me a flash, not forward, but it definitely reminded me of Strange Days in a way with the first person perspectives.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Not fully, of course.
Yeah, but yeah, it was like that.
But it's funny how they did. I'll give the writers this. They were like, they brought in Mara and Zed, and he was when Tron, or when you guys held us all inside the mechanic shop. We were, he was there with us. This butthead was with us. So how the hey, and then there was Tron separately. So how the hey would that make sense? And then Tesla was just like, no, I'm so paranoid. The paranoia has just gotten to his head that he will not listen to reason.
Yeah. And after Beck rescued everyone in the bounty episode and they're driving in the tunnel, I almost thought he was going to reveal his identity,
Same thing. Same thing.
Mara and Zed at that point. Another thing I noticed, unrelated, but I just thought of it because of the tunnel sequence. I noticed it's not often, but every once in a while there's a background for a location that looks different from all other backgrounds in this show or in the Legacy movie in the grid. Um, there was one in the previous block where um, Beck got his disc stolen by someone, and then they're trying to track him down, and they find him like at some kind of bar or something, sitting in a booth, and then he tries to escape, and he runs into like what do you call it? Like an access corridor, like in a building, like the back rooms away from public, where you see pipes and things. But it looked like a real world location. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it didn't look like the digital grid world. It looked more like a back room in like the THX 1138 world, like industrial. And then the tunnel in the episode I was just talking about, it almost looked photorealistic instead of the neon digital world. It almost looked like it was a physical concrete tunnel. I don't know. Those things just stand out to me because we don't normally see anything like that in the grid world. Like the only thing that we see that looks sort of natural or from the natural world is when we see rock formations. But that's about it. So it's those other locations almost look like real world stuff in the grid, and I don't know. I just thought it was a little bit of a weird artistic choice because we don't see hardly any of that anywhere else.
Hey, speaking of Smallville, one of the, I guess, actors showed up.
Yes, not expecting that.
I was not expecting that either.
We only saw him for a little bit. I guess he was, teased at the end of the two-parter.
The first two-parter of this series, or in like
The one we just watched, the Scars 2 episodes, episode 9 and 10.
Yeah, that was no, he's voicing Tyson, right? Or Dyson.
Dyson. But I thought Dyson just appeared. Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm mixing Dyson with somebody else.
You're thinking of the scientist that created the weapon.
No,
right?
I'm thinking of Cyrus. I think.
Right. Yeah,
That's the character who was teased quickly at the end.
Yeah, I hope we go into that. I assume they'll give us information. I wonder if he's one of the converted agents, I guess, or one of their friends. Excuse me.
Yeah. Okay. So Cyrus. Yeah. That's the tease, and that's actually a known actor, voiced by Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad fame.
Oh. I don't know. Was that in the episode, or is that like uncredited?
I don't know if it was in that episode credits, but again, he only appeared and spoke at like the very end of the two-parter.
Yeah, okay. So, well, he's going to be in the next part.
Right. Dyson, though, is John Glover.
Right.
Who I can't remember what I was watching. A movie from the 70s.
Julia?
Early 70s. Which one? Was it Julia that he appeared in?
Well, that was 77, but not the
Well,
early
it was in
70s.
the 70s. I don't remember. It could have been Julia. It could have been Jesus Christ Superstar that I had watched, or it could have been something else I watched. Clute, that was from the 70s. But I saw some movie in the last 6 months where I saw a young John Glover. Yeah, he's Dyson, who is this. It's interesting how all the different supporting characters all have very unique like faces, even a lot of extras who are just in the background have very unique faces sometimes.
There's a few that I noticed were similar to previous ones, like the one that Kate Murrah voiced. I think I saw her model somewhere, but it wasn't her. So I think they reused a few personally, I think. By the way, so I got the scientist who made the weapon in episode 7 mixed up with Dyson. I thought Dyson had returned. Excuse me.
Oh, not Dyson.
Yeah.
You thought that was Dyson?
I thought it was Dyson again, but then I, quickly looked like, okay, no, it's not.
Wait, when was Dyson showed before that episode?
Wasn't he? Wasn't. I mistaken.
Oh,
I thought somehow that scientist survived and it was Dyson, but it was not.
I thought the scientist who created the weapon was Paul Rubens.
Looks similar, but no.
So, oh yeah, when I went back to check, and it's obviously not him,
Yep.
but that's why I thought, because in the opening sequence the scientist essentially dies. I thought, wow, they killed off Paul Rubens, but then he showed up later, and I was like, wait, what's happening? And then that's when I realized
Well,
it's not the same person.
also, yeah, different voice for, or at least I could tell it was a different voice.
Oh, by the way, that car, the one you said looked like a Hot Wheels,
Yep,
it also
Roadster.
reminds me of some of the cars that come up for like purchase in the video game Rocket games. Um, just kind of reminds me of
Oh, you
something.
mean Rocket League?
Rocket League, sorry.
Oh, hey, that's a yeah. No, that's a good yeah. No, good shout out
That
there,
would be cool if we had a game in the grid that was like Rocket League. Oh man.
dude. Honestly, I think you're onto something.
Yeah, but they probably wouldn't do something that obvious. Like it's one thing to allude to Pong. It's another thing to allude to like a popular A-list current video game. Like
Which may have been in the may have been demoed by the point, not demo, but it may have been early alpha by this point. I can't remember when it was released.
I can't remember either.
2014. Anyway, so I got some illusion. Okay, and obviously there always will be allusions to Star Wars, but these two episodes or these like batch of episodes, I was like, nah, hang on. Oh, there it is. Um, well, one, I think this is obvious. Tron in a healing chamber with scars now, and to be fair,
Oh,
he can temporarily heal those scars, but if he's away from it too long, that's a problem. But and then the I guess when he goes to fight Dyson in that whatever, like chronic chamber, not the chronic chamber, but cooling towers or whatever they are,
yeah.
carbonite.
Yeah. Or he has like yeah, it's like a combination of stuff we've seen with Darth Vader in Empire and in Rogue One, and also with stuff we heavily see in the Book of Boba Fett, which I don't think you've seen.
Though to be fair, this is all pre that stuff, so I'm only
It's not pre Empire Strikes Back.
well, not a pre. Okay, forgive me. You're right. Not pre Empire Strikes Back. I'm just thinking. Yeah, the ending set piece in episode 10. That's Empire, but I mean, sort of. Yeah, the healing chamber was shown differently in Empire.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, there was something else I was going to say about all that. Um,
Flashbacks to Dyson himself and how he's a complete tool or fool. Excuse me.
and then of course Dice. Well, you think Dyson's a complete fool?
I don't know. He just has that smug look to him, and I don't like smug people.
Well, he does have that smug look, that's for sure. But he's also somebody who was good but had doubts about things, like sort of like a mini Anakin arc, where he was pretty good, but even before his accident, he had these little anger spells, and he would say things not the same, but like in Attack of the Clones when Anakin's talking to Padme in that idyllic location on Naboo, and he's like, "We should just have one ruler who like takes charge of everything, and makes the galaxy." It's like, dude, Anakin, are you even listening to yourself right now? But he's clearly like very suspicious and or racist towards ISOs, even when he's good and following Tron's orders.
I understand that he sees what suddenly, these people come out of nowhere. They weren't programmed by everybody else, like by the users. How come they get special treatment over us? So he made sense as a character of like, yeah, this doesn't seem fair. And once, yeah, he gets his face kind of cut in half, then that's where the seeds of discontent really like amplify.
Well, it's not only because he lost a part of himself, but also because Clue fills in the rest. And maybe he's sort of like Rizzler or Rensler 1.0.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Where he's the kind of like all the prequel antagonists that will eventually get to Darth Vader.
According to the Phantom Menace or Attack of the Clones visual guide, General Grievous was supposed to be like one of the Emperor's first attempts at trying to resuscitate someone who was badly maimed.
That reminds me when we do get Flynn when he shows up and he talks to Dyson directly. I was surprised, and I guess they did this intentionally, but I'm surprised because at least in the original Tron, when was it Lori? She was, or the program of hers when she was air quotes like injured. Uh, Flynn was the one that kind of helped her out and kind of looked into her code and was, or well, actually, I guess also in it wasn't just that. Sorry, no. I think was it Korra? That's what it was when in Legacy, where he helps. I was surprised he didn't do that to. I'm surprised he wasn't able to do that to Dyson. He's able to do it to Korra because she has like a much more complex code to her because she's an ISO. But with program, didn't he heal like lay on hands a program in Tron 1? It's been a while, so I can't remember, but I feel like he did. So that's kind of weird that he didn't do that to Dyson, and instead it's Clue that does it, which obviously gets him over to his side.
Right. Yeah, I'm not sure when Flynn got that ability because I can't remember for sure if anything like that happened in the first movie, the original.
Or am I just thinking of when he kind of creates a new pathway so that the solar sail can switch tracks?
Maybe
I'm thinking of that.
And he definitely tried to help Ram, but he passed.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah, you're right. Maybe I'm just thinking of Legacy, so that hasn't happened yet. So never mind.
Yes, perhaps. Yeah, I still don't. Again, I don't know. We already talked about it. I don't know if any of this lore will carry over in any way, shape, or form into Ares.
So updates. I did see recent trailer for Ares.
I know there's a new trailer that I have not watched.
So about it being filmed in Los Angeles, I don't know because the first shot literally looks like from a certain highway or area that I'm aware of, and then basically I think it's still filmed here.
Could be, but they may be setting it in LA proper, which I'm quite certain they were not doing in Legacy. But it's possible. They could have done more shooting in Canada, but this time intended it to be Los Angeles.
Well, that is definitely not Los Angeles, I tell you. But it was a good trailer. I did enjoy the trailer, and they did. You still use heavily. They heavily use that track from Nine Inch Nails. So still ready to go see it.
The track with lyrics or not?
Yeah,
lyrics?
It was what the flip was it called? We'll know it when we watch it.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, forgive me for going off topic. Well, not slightly. It's still on topic. But last time, I posed you this question. I should have. Sorry, I may spring this now, but I'll give you some time to think about it. I said, Eric, what would be your user? What would you program? What would you name your program?
Oh, I forgot to work on that.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot we had homework, but I came up with mine. Funny story of how I came up with mine, but
okay, go for it.
Well, do you want me to wait and for you to have yours on hand, or because I don't want to?
Okay, sure, that's fine.
Just because obviously I'll wait with it, but anyways, so back to I guess the discussion. I know it's not much left to discuss personally. I think. Well, I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
I think Paige is getting to that point of. I don't know if it's betrayal or if it's
okay.
Not so much.
I remember something I was going to bring up now.
Okay, go ahead.
So based on what we saw in this block, if we were betting, would we say eventually Mara may end up with Zed, and maybe there'll be something, maybe not like a full relationship, but there'll be something between Beck and Paige eventually? Because I know Mara's sort of doing the love triangle thing right now, but it seems like that's she's not destined to be with Beck.
No. I'm also, I don't know if I said this last time. I hope they don't Gwen Stacy Mara.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I hope that's not going that down that path because that's gonna really that's really gonna be rough. I don't think so. With Paige, I don't think she's gonna necessarily work with. I don't think she'll technically work with Beck or the Tron Legacy. I think she's gonna probably maybe the truth might come out about uh, Teslar's machinations and that he had a hand in her friend's murders, or at least exterminations, deresing, excuse me. So I do wonder if it's more personally she's going to attack him and not for the sake of the city.
Well, yeah, she's probably going to turn on Tesla or get revenge at some point.
Yes.
But she could end up on the side of good because like there's got to be something to Cora and her ISO friend like being the first people to acknowledge that they liked her music, because nobody ever told Paige that her music was any good until Cora did.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much she took that to heart though after Tesla filled her with lies. But
Right,
upon
but
reassessment, I assume once the truth comes out, maybe she'll think twice, and maybe Cora will show up again.
and by the way, just because it came on my screen right now, that sort of torture scene during the bounty episode when they bind Mara and Zed and the little henchman,
Yep.
like when all three of them are bound with their arms and they're like pulling them. I forget what that torture device was called,
Draw and quartered.
but what was the name of that device that would stretch you out in medieval times?
Oh yeah. So not drawn and quartered, but yes. I don't know what it's called. I can vamp for a while before you, if you want to go look it up.
But I got something to say about drawing quartering later too. But
Oh boy.
oh, of course, it was called the rack,
The rack.
the one that would yeah, stretch you. No, just quickly, drawing and quartering. When I went to British American school, so American school in England, we had a teacher who would come like once a week or something, and they were called the host nation teacher, and that's someone who's just sort of like an expert on the country, the resident country, and teaches about it. And I think I was in second grade or third grade, second grade, and the teacher came in and he was telling us all about like medieval tortures and things. It might have been when it was Guy Fawkes Day times of the year, fall.
Get the November.
And I remember he like explicitly described drawing and quartering. And I remember he was explaining like they take the knife and go down your abdomen to your navel and like the four sections. And I remember being in like second or third grade going, what? And I remember he talked about how like people who would defy the crown and whatever, how they would like um, put their heads on stakes at the main gates of London. It's just crazy that he was just telling us all that stuff very straightforwardly when I was in second grade or thereabouts. Like, and I never forgot it. And then I remember watching Braveheart for the first time, circa 1995, and going, "Oh, there it is in live action, drawing and quartering." Okay.
Obviously not to the full extent, but yeah,
Yeah,
to a point, of course.
yeah. But anyway, that's my torture story, medieval torture story. Yeah, I think we kind of covered what all is here in this block, and I am more invested now in the series as a whole after watching this block. And also, one of the notable voice casts that I forgot to mention um, in the first block, but is throughout the whole series, is the voice of the Grid, who kind of does the little catch ups at the beginning.
Oh yeah.
Is it Trisha? Trisha Helfer? Do you know who she is?
That name rings a bell. Was she on BSG?
Yeah, the revival,
Yeah,
yes.
of course. Yeah, the revival.
And she's Canadian, but yeah. Yeah, she's the voice of the grid throughout all those little intro sections, etc.
Yeah, I thought I recognized her voice.
Yeah, but that's a fairly high profile person. Forgot to mention. But and have we seen the character Link yet?
He was the one that was supposed to fake being the snitch. He was not I say snitch, but he was the one that Pavel designated as, oh, you're the one who's gonna get the roadster.
Okay. Link is voiced by David Arquette.
As said in the episode, 'cause basically if it says special guest star, whoever's like, the and here's this new character, it's like that's the person.
Yeah, and so I have yet. I don't think we've seen Bartik or Hopper yet.
Those two are the goons. Those two are the
Those are the
yeah.
goons.
Those guys are the foolish goons on subserving Page.
Okay.
Yep. He was. I think it was Hopper who was the one that was framed.
Okay. So let's see. Hopper is played by Paul Scheer, who's the actor comedian, and Bartik is Donald Faison, who most people would recognize most from either the movie Clueless or the best friend in the show Scrubs, which is one of my
Oh, that guy. Okay. The number, not the number two, but the other. Yeah, that guy. Okay. Yeah, no.
yeah.
My mom's
So
been watching Scrubs recently, so I'm like, oh, I know who that
oh
is.
man, that was one of my favorite sitcoms at the time that it was running. Oh, absolutely one of my favorite.
Heard it ended great. Okay, sorry, never mind.
Yeah, that show. I think it's one of the ones. I know this is offshoot, but we're closing up now soon.
Knock on wood.
I think was it Greg Daniels? Like he worked and wrote on King of the Hill, the original first season, 7 seasons or something. I think he worked on Scrubs. He did The American Office, and now The Paper. So, yeah, good times, good shows.
Veteran.
Yeah, but yeah, so that's the block. I'm looking forward to the next block, and I'll try to make sure because we have 5 and 4 episodes remaining, but I'll try to make it so we don't like split a two-parter.
Obviously,
If
yeah.
possible.
That actually worked out really well in this, by the way.
Yeah, I
really
was
good.
afraid we were going to land halfway on that.
And honestly, I'm happy that we finished strong on this one with kind of Tron. I wouldn't say going out of character, but definitely getting some backstory to him that I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, and something I don't know if they did it back in 2012 or 2013, but it is something they do in more modern times now. That when they produce an animated series, when they produce like the first season, quote unquote, like whether it's 10 episodes or 20 episodes for a season one for animated, a lot of times in modern times they'll divide that one season into part one and part two, and so Scar almost felt like one of those part one season finales. You know what I mean?
Scar?
The Scar two parter.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, the two-part.
Like that would have been like, you know, oh, that's the end of season one, part one, and we'd have to wait like 3 or 4 months for season one, part two.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, sorry. You're right. Yeah, forgive me.
Yeah. So I don't know if they did that back in 2012, but it felt like that kind of thing.
Yeah, could have been part two. Could have been like a mid-season finale.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because it was kind of epic, you know, without being all out epic.
He has the generic, maybe not generic, but he has looks like a soldier's uniform almost. But then he has a yo-yo for a weapon, which I think was really cool.
That was crazy.
And we kind of almost had a really like extended like one take almost, or at least of a fight scene. Excuse me, there. So it was,
You know, the yo-yo was cool. It's kind of like what's her name in Kill Bill Volume 1. Have you seen that?
no.
Oh my god.
Sorry, man. Just I'm making my way through.
Okay, there's a character who has a weapon that works almost just like that, except it's not a disc. It's like a what do you call the medieval weapon that's like a ball and I mean
Flail.
a stick and a chain and then like the ball with barbs on it.
So it's either a flail or a morning star.
Okay. Well, the one in Kill Bill is more like that, but
Okay.
it functions the same way. The weapon was super cool in this. The only problem is, really, Beck can just catch it in his hand and then cut the little thread. Like, that is what? That is too easy a way.
I know.
I was just like, wait a second.
Sometimes the impractical can be, spectacle, and they were trying to go for a spectacle in this. So, but yeah, and it went to a point where he's like, all right, I'm done, taking this serious, or trying to like, play around with this guy. And
then, because I'm seeing Dyson arrive on Teslar's massive ship or whatever, Dyson's like private craft, it has such a prominent X on it. It reminds me of like the first couple Bryan Singer X-Men movies where there were X's everywhere in the cinematography.
That's fair.
But yeah, he looks like the character model, the face of Dyson. It reminds me of that guy. Oh, you probably haven't seen this either.
Well, you don't know.
The early Police Academy movies, Steve Guttenberg was like the main guy, but then he didn't do like the later sequels, and there was this other lesser known 80s 90s actor who sort of took over as the central protagonist. I'll have his name next week, but
Okay.
Dyson kind of reminds me of that actor who took over as like the lead in the later Police Academy movies. I think he appeared on some episodes of Seinfeld as well.
Okay. Can we clarify something as well? You mentioned the actor last time who you think is like a stand-in, like they're not rotoscope. They definitely used him as a model for Abel, the head mechanic, and he's kind of MIA right now. He got mucked up, so hopefully.
Yeah. I was going to bring that up earlier when we were talking about injuries and recovery.
And by the way, I actually appreciate when in both like 6, 9, and 10 episodes they didn't have Zetter, Mara in there. I mean, in a good way of like they just weren't needed for that. Like, and I appreciate kind of that where they don't have to just like they have to go back to that.
Right.
It kind of felt like that in the first batch, but in this in these next few sessions, I appreciate where it's like, okay, we're only going to use the characters that we need to use, which I think helps their characters later on when it's like, oh, hey, we're seeing them again.
And funnily, they do that purposefully in modern shows, live action, just to save on cost. They'll have actors like be absent for certain episodes, but yeah.
Yeah, they did in Justice League, the 2000s one, but I kind of miffed on that one in a way because I wanted them all to be there every week. But
they do it sometimes in Strange New Worlds and stuff like that.
I see. I guess they did it in TOS. Sorry, the Abel actor that you were saying last week, guy, you said he was Canadian. He's from Detroit, close to it, but no.
Oh, we talked about that last time.
We didn't and on record.
Oh, okay.
It was after recording. You made amends for that. You were like, oh wait, no, he's from Detroit. So I just want to put it on record that the guy is from Detroit. Really, yeah. No, I recognize the guy. Yeah, good looking guy, and that is a character actor.
Yeah, except he's not doing the voice. He's not in the series.
No, yeah, he's not. Yeah,
the model looks like him, and the other model looks like the guy from the Fargo movie. But again, not him. But just weird to me.
Would be funny though. Would be funny if it was a case of just, hey, we're using these are the ink suited actors or who we're modeling them after.
Yeah, but so stay tuned. 2 more blocks to go, and we will be done with Uprising. And if we can schedule it close enough, we'll eventually do a review on Ares. I just don't know. When it comes to new movies and releasing on this podcast, sometimes we release after theatrical release, or sometimes we release after home release, depending on
that's a good point.
Logistics of the situation.
I'm gonna see it either opening day or at least like close to release.
Yeah, I am as well.
By the way, do you have your program, or do you still need some? You want to wait till next week?
Next time.
I gotta remember to write that down for you. I'll have to send you a message every day.
I wrote it down, but I'll forget.
Yes,
because I normally don't check my notes until I'm prepping for the next podcast. All right. So, closing out the show today, this is Eric.
And I'm either Isaac or Ike. What is your audience members or listeners? What is your program that you'll make that is an avatar for you inside the grid? Let us know. Till next time.
The couch is yours.
If I may, quickly, just pick your brain on something. This is kind of going back to the vehicles. Forgive me, but
Go ahead.
when Ducktales was around,
Oh,
I
what?
guess the first one.
I don't know what the second one is, but okay.
Well, it was it
Oh, there was a
revived
little
with?
revival.
Yeah, there was one with Tennant as
Yes, I
Scrooge.
forgot about that.
Haven't watched it, but actually, with a lot of those like prime Disney afternoon, like on the Disney Channel.
Oh,
How
they're
did
actually on regular broadcast TV.
Oh right, sorry, thank you. You reminded me. Pardon me. Yeah, on the regular Disney Channel, I guess, or the regular broadcast, whatever you want to call it. Did Disney have tie-in toys for something like Ducktales? Because I'm just thinking, like, TMNT or He-Man or Thundercats or just any of those, or GI Joe or Transformers. They all had toys. Did Disney ever, like, especially because they're a merchandise machine for pit's sakes? Did they ever have like Ducktales
I
figurines?
think there was some, but it was not at all in the volume of what you'd see from Hasbro and Mattel and Kenner and all the other popular '80s toy brands. Like there was some, but it was sparing.
That's interesting. Just because, again, I forgive me if I'm just incorrect. Just it's like I'm not saying, well, I don't know if it's free money, but if people, it was very popular. I don't know how much more popular it was versus, like I said, some of those other shows. And I know that Ducktales didn't come out until like the late '80s or the early '90s, but still, I'm surprised that Disney wouldn't merchandise
Yeah,
that.
because I remember very little of anything like Chip and Dale or Darkwing Duck. There was
Yeah,
things, but it wasn't like everywhere, like Star Wars stuff was back in the day, or
yeah.
GI Joes, or even well, Transformers, of course. There was something else I can't remember that was super common in those days. But yeah, they existed, but it was not in large numbers. Same thing with like Tiny Toons and the Warner Brothers stuff. There was some things you could buy, but it wasn't everywhere, and a lot of it would be like a plushie or something, but not like a whole full toy line or anything like that. No Tiny Toon play sets or
Huh.
anything.
Yeah, I guess you know what? Maybe if it depends on the company. I guess Hasbro and Kenner and Mattel, as you mentioned. I guess they were willing to take the risk on those properties because
Well,
it
I
was
guess because Disney generally has always been primarily like an animation studio, whereas all those other IPs like TMNT and all the rest, those were those were cartoons made by toy companies, whereas Disney was an animation company that would make some toys. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, that's yeah. I was thinking that too. Of like, whereas like the previous ones, as I said, they had no choice but to, you know, they lived on toys. If they didn't sell toys, that would be a problem. And it's like, well, our stock's down, but Disney didn't have to release, even though they are known for their merchandise. They still, you're right. That is interesting. So it was just interesting why, I was just curious as to why a lot of they didn't go the GI Joe route with selling a bunch of these kind of toys to, I guess, young kids, like maybe young boys. If this was more of like a boys show potentially, with like a revolution aspect to it, but because honestly, like some of these, yeah, figurines, even of like Tesla, he'd be pretty cool. I'm not saying you need the
Oh, it would
Omega
be cool
arms,
for
but
sure. But I think Disney has also learned in the last 10, 15 years, especially, like, because there have been some Star Wars toy lines in particular and other things where they made a lot of toys and the show or whatever just didn't land. And therefore, there's so much backlog. Like, there's some discount stores in the United States where, they basically sell merchandise that didn't sell, um, and they had like the full line of like the Marvel, like, I don't know, Black Series equivalent of like all the characters in Marvel the Eternals. There was just tons of those
oof,
uh, figures all selling for like $6, but they're probably 20, originally. And there was also like, oh, like I don't remember. Like I will see like Ahsoka live action or like Kenobi live action
oh,
figures like that nobody buys. Um, Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, darn. I guess had those series done better, Caleb would now have his Zero the Hutt figurine or plushie, excuse me.
Yeah, it's crazy because, since back in the day, anytime there's a Batman movie, like tons of Batman stuff. Superman, same. Spider-Man, same. But like you can't go to the store right now and find Thunderbolts action figures or Fantastic Four. It's like practically non-existent.
In other ways, like for instance, like Marvel Rivals, I think you could probably find some off-brand or unofficial, not toy line, but like what is it, like water bottles or stickers or stuff like. But obviously, that's not toys. It's just like regular merchandise.
I remember even like the Justice League like official figures in the mid to
Oh
late
yeah,
80s, and there wasn't even a Justice League cartoon in the 80s. But that was a very popular toy line, and so when Batman 89 came out, I actually got the Justice League action figure of the Joker at the time that Batman 89 came out. Um, so yeah, it's a different time, different landscape. I don't even know what the hot toys are right now for kids of like elementary age.
it's a good question.
I don't even know because when I was subbing in the elementaries, there was just girls were into anything that had Hello Kitty on it, and with the boys, it was only like a select group. Kind of like when I was growing up, there was like select boys who played D&D. Well, there was a select group of boys who were into Beyblades, which I did not know was still a popular thing because I remember kids playing with those a lot more about 10 years ago. But it was like a subclass of boys, subset of boys who were into the Beyblade. And then there was some boys who secretly had Pokemon cards hidden because they're not allowed to be at school. But other than that, I didn't really see anything else.